Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Hopefully great. But I wanted to say some things because what's funny is that ever since I decided that I'm really going to stand on my boundaries and quit opening up the salt wound, quit pouring salt on an open wound. Because even though I healed and worked through some things with the issues that I have with my mother, I've been getting like a lot of posts, right? And what people fail to realize is that in order for a child, an adult child at that, to get to a point where they're no longer tolerating the abuse, the toxicness of their parent, it has gotten to a point where it has literally just boom, 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 flashing all over the place. When I do Uber, when I do Lyft, I'm running into a lot of people and we're having these conversations. And what's funny to me is that the conversations that I'm having a lot of these with women who have issues with their mothers or men who have issues with their mothers. And what I find funny is that I actually wrote a book about healing. Healing the present, healing the past and loving the present, right? So this book is actually like a workbook. And it takes the time and it asks you questions and it gives you like all different type of things to work on situations, right? But what I find funny is that as the adult children do the work, the parent wants to continue to sit and play victim because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to open up the wounds. And see, people love to tell me that, well, Raven, it seems like you're still holding on to grudges and you're still holding on to baggage. No. You have to think about what type of shit a person has been through to sit here and say, you know what, I'm done with my parent. I'm no longer dealing with it, right? So for me personally, right, my issues have been, and I've let it go. And I literally sat and took the time to have a wall of questions that I asked myself. And one of the questions that I asked myself 3 years ago before my stepfather passed, right, was who do I have problems with and why do I have problems with them? That's a real question. That's a real let's take accountability question. That it takes a lot of let me see who I am to even get to that point of even asking that question. Right? Because my shirt also says lessons, never losses. Right? So everything is a lesson. Everything is a lesson. So what I decided to do was contact my parents while I'm going through this healing journey of who am I mad at? Why? Because I'm finna let go of all this shit, which is allowing for me to, skin better, losing weight, and things of that nature. Right? So as I'm doing that, I decided I write a letter to everyone that I'm mad at. I asked myself, what role did I play? What role did I play in the scenarios and the situations that I'm in? That's, again, an adult question. That's an accountability question. That is a look at myself and figure out where the fuck the mess is question. Right? Okay. Now, with those type of questions, I decided, you know what? As a part of this process, because I actually have somebody that I'm actually doing this process with, quote unquote, my life coach at that time, right? Getting ready for this journey of healing myself, okay? Now, I call my mother and I say to her, Mom, I really want to apologize for what role that I played into my childhood. I know there's not a user manual for raising children. I know that. I see that with my own kid. But at the same time, I did a lot of things differently than you, which I just want to take the time to say thank you for making me who I am, which means accepting all the toxic shit that she did, all the unnecessariness, all the not having conversations, all the I want to make cookies with my mom, but I get a recipe card instead. So all the bullshit that came with, right? Even the raising of my brothers until I left the house, all of that. I was accepting of all of that, whatever role that I played, okay? And I apologized. Now, one thing is for sure and two things is for certain is I'm only responsible for my reaction to things, okay? I'm not expecting for her to be like, oh, kumbaya, we're going to be the best of friends. I'm not expecting none of that. Because again, this is my healing. I'm not expecting her to do anything different than who the hell she's always shown me to be. And when you get to that point where you don't expect anything different from people because they've always shown you shit, then when they show it to you after you're walking through your healing and you're like, yo, XYZEFG, I didn't even expect for her to say thank you. I don't even know. I wasn't even expecting anything, to be honest. But what I got was, yeah, you're right. There's not a user manual. You know, I did the best that I could with what I had. Okay, that's great. Not a problem. Not a problem. I accepted it. Feel what I'm saying? I accepted it. I didn't accept any stories, any for us to go back and be like, yo, I remember. No, I didn't expect none of that, because when I tried to do that ahead of time, I was then told none of that happened. She has selective memory. She remembers what she wants, and I accept that. I don't expect anything different. Okay? Me and my stepfather, we had already came to our healing. We've already healed things. So I had no reason to be mad at him at all. I didn't have any baggage with him at all, because he stepped in to do a man's job that a man was supposed to do but didn't want to do. So I respect my stepfather on all kind of levels. On all kind of levels. Right? I got a lot of firsts with him. A lot of firsts. He changed my life, and I thank him so very much for the positive. But then it goes then to the other person that created me. That's not even a safe space either. That's not a safe space, because guess what he does? Sends me sexually suggestive text messages. But anytime I ask questions about my childhood on either side, neither one can answer them. So I don't expect, again, anything extra from them at all. I even took the time just recently, since my stepfather has been gone, to go, because my brothers kept calling me about our mother. All right, fine, whatever. I go, I see what it is. You know, I tell them what we need to do, what we should do. But then I decide, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this because I'm the reason that I had to go find our stepfather. I had to go find my stepfather. Right? I had to drive 8 hours away. My aunt calls me and says, my grandmother, which was my stepfather's mother, that she had a dream about her and telling her to bring her baby home. So we were going to meet. But before I got the phone call to go up there, no one considered what I was doing, what I was going through, what was on my plate, anything. It was, Raven, we need you to go to Ohio and go find your dad. But I have 2 brothers that have no kids. See what I'm saying? So I did that. I did that by myself. I am a person who, I have a business. I do Uber and Lyft. And at that time, I had just gotten into a car accident the same weekend I was supposed to go to Kansas to go bury my aunt. I get into a car accident that same day that I'm supposed to be on my way there. So it's like, when people sit here and they say things and parents be like, oh, woe is me. No, stop. Take a minute. Reflect on your actions. See what you have done and take ownership for that. Then maybe your adult child will turn around. But if your adult child has worked through their own shit that you've caused as a parent, and you still as a parent don't take accountability, you can't be mad at that child does not want you to have anything to do with your grandkids, don't want to have anything to do with them. You can't be mad because you still don't want to take accountability, but you still want to play victim. And this is for everyone. This book right here is for everyone. And that's just a taste of the shit that I've had to heal, that I've had to work through. I got 2 living parents and I buried my stepfather. And neither one of my parents, neither one of them will take accountability. I went to go do my mother's head about 2 months ago, and I get, oh, I'm so proud of you, but you should have did it. You should have started doing hair earlier. You wasn't worried about me doing hair earlier. You was worried about child support being cut off and kicking me the fuck out. That's what you was worried about earlier. Now I should have did hair earlier. Oh, okay. I did it when I did it. I did it when God told me to. Then I turn around, I do your hair, and then you turn around and say, oh, I gotta go wash my hair. That's why I'm cutting my mama off. Because I drove 13 hours to do something nice. And that shit still wasn't appreciated. I drove 8 hours to find my stepfather passed away, gone. And when we get to New Jersey, I'm glad you drove, because now I can go to New York when the funeral is over to go see a nigga. That's the shit that I deal with. That's the shit. After driving 8 hours, 3 times, making sure my brothers could get back home. Yeah. So it's like when you older adults, parents, that haven't healed, haven't done the work, but want to scream how you're cut off and how the adult child doesn't want to have anything to do with you. Do the fucking work and heal. If you really want that relationship with your child, do the fucking work and heal. That's my PSA for today. Because I'm over parents talking about, oh, I don't have a relationship with my kid. Well, what did you do? How about you figure out how to fix it? How about you start taking accountability? Because there's not a user manual. But guess what? My kid didn't turn out 16 and pregnant. So even though there's not a user manual, I ain't a grandmama in my 40s. Even though there's not a user manual, my kid ain't in and out of jail. Even though there ain't a user manual, my kid is not an alcoholic. Even though there's not a user manual, my kid is working and walking in her purpose. There is no fucking excuse. So I'm so sick and tired of there's not a user manual for all the parents that are 65 plus, that have kids in their 30s, 40s. I need you to make that shit make sense. Open up the book. Because if your adult children could open up the book and heal, then maybe you can have the relationship that you want with your grandkids and your kids. If you take and acknowledge the bullshit that y'all brought. That's all we're simply asking. You to acknowledge it, heal from it, because we have. And we're not going to keep rubbing salt into wounds because you brought us into the world. Understand that. A lot of us have healed from a whole lot of shit. And the fact that we have kids and our kids are productive and that our kids are doing better, there's no excuse. And it's because we decided we were going to change the narrative and give our kids a whole lot better than what we got. So please, you can pick this up on Amazon. Do the work. And for all the ladies that say there's no good men out here, it's funny because my men clients are the ones purchasing this book. Not my women clients, but my men clients. That says a lot. Have a good day.